Welcome to a deep dive you won't find anywhere else. One tailored just for you. All about AI and the future of work. You sent in a really thought-provoking mix of articles and book excerpts, and what I'm hearing from you is you want to go beyond the tech.
Oh, absolutely.
You want to understand the human side of this AI revolution, the big picture.
Yeah.
And to help with that, we've got an expert with us today, someone who can make sense of these sources in a way that, well, I think you'll find pretty amazing.
I'll do my best.
Now, you specifically mentioned David Clare's book, humAIn, so let's start there. I thought his approach was fascinating because he doesn't just give us the facts, he explores how AI could reshape our work culture, even our identity as workers.
Right, yeah.
Right off the bat, he asks a question that really stuck with me. Are we building an Iron Man future or a Terminator future?
Oh, that's a good one.
What'd you think of that analogy?
Oh, I thought it was brilliant. Right away it makes you think about the potential of AI as a source for good, like Iron Man's Jarvis, but also the potential dangers if it goes off the rails, like Skynet and Terminator.
Exactly. And Clare argues that which path we end up on, well, it hinges on the choices we make today as we develop and implement AI.
Yeah.
It's not predetermined. We have a say. He doesn't think a Terminator scenario has to happen.
Right.
So if we're trying to, avoid a robot uprising, what does Clare suggest we do?
Well, he says we can't just focus on building better, smarter AI. We have to invest in what he calls human-centered design, thinking about the human implications of AI at every step, making sure that these systems are aligned with our values, augmenting our capabilities, not replacing us altogether.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So instead of AI being this separate force coming to take over, it's more like an extension of ourselves, a tool to help us reach our full potential. Like, imagine having your own Jarvis to help you with work, making you more efficient, more productive. Think about all the time we waste on those little things. Scheduling meetings, answering emails, sifting through data. What if AI could take care of that? Freeing us up for the work that requires our human skills, creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, empathy.
I know, right?
Okay, let's be real for a second, though. AI isn't some far-off fantasy. It's already in our lives, often in ways we don't even realize. Think about how Netflix suggests shows we might like, or Spotify creates those playlists that sometimes it's like they're reading our minds.
I know, it's kind of creepy sometimes.
It's all AI working behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And it's not just entertainment either. AI is already transforming entire industries, from healthcare and finance to retail and agriculture.
Pretty much everywhere you look these days.
You actually highlighted some real-world examples in the margins of humAIn.
Oh yeah, those were good. Claire mentions how Google DeepMind developed an AI system that can detect breast cancer from mammograms, and it's just as accurate as human experts.
That's amazing. Think of how many lives that could save earlier, more accurate diagnoses.
That's the hope, isn't it?
And then in finance, you mentioned Goldman Sachs. They've got this AI-powered trading platform that can process thousands of scenarios every minute.
Yeah, that speed, that computing power, it's just beyond what humans can do.
Mind-blowing. And it's not just about efficiency either. Claire argues AI can help us make smarter decisions, manage risks better, even uncover new opportunities we wouldn't have thought of before.
Definitely.
You also flagged that example from the retail world.
Oh, right.
Walmart's using AI to manage their inventory, predicting what people are going to buy, optimizing stock levels to reduce waste, and no more empty shelves,
Exactly.
which I love as a shopper.
Ha ha ha, yeah.
It's a great example of how AI impacts not just business, but customers like us too. And of course, there's AI in agriculture too. You marked that section.
Yeah, it's amazing how it's being used. AI-powered systems for precision farming, monitoring crops, optimizing irrigation, predicting yields.
Think about the potential to grow more food, reduce waste, especially with the growing global population.
This huge.
That's incredible. Now, I appreciate that Claire doesn't just focus on the good stuff. He acknowledges the potential downsides of AI too, like that passage you underlined about deepfakes and misinformation.
Yeah, that's scary stuff.
It's like, as we create more powerful AI, we need to be super careful about the ethical implications.
100%.
He argues we need to build safeguards into these systems from the start. We can't just leave it to the tech companies.
Right. It's on all of us as a society to have these conversations, to figure out what values we want to embed in these technologies and how to make sure AI is serving humanity, not the other way around.
He really hammers home that it's not about the technology in isolation. It's about the choices we make as we develop and use it. We have a responsibility to shape it in a way that benefits everyone.
I agree.
Okay, so we've got AI doing incredible things. helping diagnose cancer, optimizing financial markets, making our food supply more efficient. But there's a flip side too, like misinformation, the need for ethical development. It's a tightrope walk, wouldn't you say?
I think so, yeah. And that's why that central question Claire poses, Iron Man or Terminator, is so important. It forces us to face the choices we're making and what could happen because of them.
And what you're saying is those choices, those decisions about how we develop and use AI, they're happening now. It's not some distant future problem.
Exactly. It's happening as we speak. And that's why it's so crucial we talk about it, grapple with the complexity of AI, demand transparency and accountability from those creating these powerful technologies.
That's a fantastic point to end on, at least for part one. We've just scratched the surface here. In part two, we'll dive into how AI could transform the very nature of work itself, the skills we'll need, the kinds of jobs that will emerge, and the challenges and opportunities ahead. Stay tuned.
Sound good?
As we were talking about all these amazing ways AI is being used, it really hit me that this is just the tip of the iceberg. It feels like we're on the cusp of some massive changes, not just in the work we do, but in how we think about work altogether.
I think so too.
And that's what really resonated with me in humAIn. Claire really digs into how the relationship between humans and work has been evolving, even before AI entered the picture.
It's such an important point. The way we view work, it's been changing across generations. Think about the baby boomers. A lot of them, it was all about dedication, climbing that corporate ladder,
Yeah,
putting in the
well,
hours.
work-to-live mentality.
Exactly. But then you have Gen X. They started prioritizing work-life balance, more flexibility, more autonomy, less about the traditional career path.
And now, with millennials and Gen Z, it's even more about finding purpose and meaning in their work.
Oh, absolutely.
They're the ones driving the gig economy, remote work, this whole work-life integration thing, where the lines get kind of blurry.
Yeah, and they're not afraid to jump between jobs if they're not feeling fulfilled, or if their employer isn't offering what they're looking for.
That's something Claire brings up too. He says AI is going to speed up these trends. Traditional jobs and career paths might become even less relevant.
It's a strange paradox, though, isn't it? On one hand, AI could automate a lot of the tasks we do now,
Right.
which could lead to job losses, but it could also free us from those mundane tasks, create space for more fulfilling work.
So maybe it's not about AI stealing our jobs entirely. Maybe it's about AI reshaping those jobs, requiring us to learn new skills, adapt to new ways of working.
I think you're right. Claire talks about how AI will push us to focus more on those uniquely human skills that are hard to automate. Creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, empathy, communication.
I'm seeing a pattern here. Those are the same skills younger generations are already prioritizing.
It's true. Maybe AI isn't just disrupting the workplace. Maybe it's pushing us towards a future of work that's more aligned with what people want.
That's a really interesting perspective. So instead of fearing AI as this job-stealing robot, maybe we should see it as a chance to build a more human-centered workplace.
I think Claire would agree. He talks about how AI could give us more flexibility in how we work, personalize our career paths, help us focus on work that really lights us up.
It all sounds great in theory, but there are going to be bumps in the road, right? Not everyone's going to be thrilled about these changes, and some people will struggle to adapt.
Of course. Big technological shifts always create winners and losers. We have to acknowledge that some jobs will probably disappear,
Yeah.
and we need to find ways to support those who are affected.
This is where I think leaders have a crucial role.
Oh, yeah.
They need to help their teams navigate these transitions, provide training, reskilling opportunities, build a culture of constant learning.
Absolutely. And not just technical skills, but also those essential human skills.
Right.
Leaders need to help their teams develop their creativity, their critical thinking, their ability to collaborate and solve problems.
Claire uses this phrase, augmented intelligence.
Oh, yeah. I like that one.
He's not saying AI should replace human intelligence. It's more about enhancing it, creating a partnership between humans and AI.
That's a great way to put it.
Like he uses the example of doctors using AI to diagnose patients more accurately. It's not about replacing the doctor. It's about giving the doctor another tool.
Right. AI is there to augment the doctor's expertise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the model we should be aiming for across the board. How can we use AI to become better at what we do, to free us up, to focus on the work that really matters?
I like that.
It's not humans versus machines. It's about humans and machines working together to build a better future. But even if AI is being used to help us, we can't ignore the potential downsides. Claire doesn't shy away from those concerns either.
You're right. One of the big ones is AI becoming too powerful, making decisions that impact our lives without any human say-so. The whole robots taking over scenario.
It's a classic sci-fi trope, and it's easy to dismiss as fantasy. But Claire argues we can't just brush it off, and that's why he keeps coming back to that Iron Man versus Terminator comparison. He's not saying a Terminator future is inevitable, but he's saying we need to be careful. We need to actively shape how AI is developed and used to make sure it aligns with our values and our best interests.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's saying it's not enough to just build smarter AI. We need to build AI that's aligned with human values, transparent, accountable, designed to empower humans,
Yeah.
not control them.
I agree. That's where things like ethical guidelines, regulations, and open discussions become so important.
For sure.
We need to have a conversation as a society about what kind of future we want to create with AI.
Right.
And we need to hold those developing these technologies accountable.
I think what's so crucial about Claire's message is it's not about being afraid of AI.
Yeah.
It's about being informed, being engaged, being proactive in shaping the future we want. And that's especially important for you since you're in a position to advocate for responsible AI development within your own organization.
Exactly. We all have a part to play in making sure AI is used for good, that it benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Okay, so we've talked about how AI is going to change the nature of work, the skills we'll need, the potential risks and rewards.
Yeah.
But there's one more piece of the puzzle. Leadership. How can leaders effectively guide their teams through this AI revolution? Uncharted waters, really. That's what we'll explore in part 3.
We've made it to the final part of our deep dive, and I think this is where it gets really practical for you as you think about your own role, how to get your team ready for this AI-powered world we're moving into. We've talked about the technology, the potential impacts on jobs and skills, but what does it all mean for leadership? That's what I want to explore with our expert today. Because it seems like leading in an AI-driven world, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, it really is. It's a whole new way of thinking about leadership. In the past, it was often about having all the answers, being the decision maker, but AI changes things so fast.
Right.
That just doesn't work anymore.
So less about command and control and more about what does good leadership look like in this new world? I think Claire sums it up perfectly in humAIn when he talks about humility. Leaders need to be okay with saying, I don't know.
I bet that's tough for some leaders to swallow.
It is a shift, but it's so important. Because with AI constantly evolving, it's more about giving your team the power to learn, adapt, try new things. It's about building a culture of continuous learning and innovation.
So less about being the expert, more about creating an environment where everyone can bring their expertise to the table, even in areas the leader might not know much about.
Exactly. Leaders need to be comfortable with not having all the answers, with embracing the unknown. Make it a place where people feel safe, taking risks, trying new things, learning from mistakes.
Makes sense. It's like that saying, fail fast and learn faster.
Yeah.
But beyond humility, being able to adapt, are there other specific things leaders should be focusing on in this AI-driven world?
Well, Claire talks a lot about vision. Leaders need to be able to zoom out, see the big picture, understand what AI could really do, and then share that vision of the future with their team in a way that gets them excited.
I love that. It's about being able to look beyond the immediate worries about AI and paint a picture of what's possible, what we could achieve if we use this technology the right way.
Exactly. It's about having a sense of purpose, direction, even when the path forward is unclear. And that connects to another important quality Claire talks about, courage.
Courage. Why courage?
Because leading in an AI-driven world means making tough choices, shaking things up, being ready to change how things have always been done. It takes courage to embrace change, especially when there's pushback from people who like things the way they are.
So you're saying good leaders need to be visionaries, they need to be adaptable, and they need to be brave enough to push for change, even when it's uncomfortable. It's a tall order.
It is, but there's one more crucial thing Claire emphasizes: empathy.
Empathy. That's not something you usually hear associated with leadership, at least not in the traditional sense.
True, but in an AI-driven world where things are constantly changing and people are dealing with a lot of uncertainty, empathy is essential.
It's about understanding how people are feeling, listening to their concerns, and supporting them through these changes.
That's it. Leaders need to create a safe space where people feel comfortable sharing their fears, asking questions, and be kind, understanding as people adjust to new roles, new ways of working.
Okay, so we've got vision, courage, empathy, adaptability, humility. That's quite a list.
It is. But it's not just about individual qualities. It's also about building structures and processes that support humans and AI working together.
What do you mean by that? Any examples?
Well, for one, organizations need to invest in AI education, make sure their employees understand the basics of AI, what it can do, what it can't do, and how it's going to affect their jobs.
It's about giving people the knowledge and tools to feel confident working with AI, not scared of it.
Right, and create opportunities for people to experiment with AI tools, see how they can make their work better, help them achieve their goals.
So making them active participants in this AI revolution, not just bystanders.
Exactly, and along with training, companies need to set clear rules for using AI ethically. This is something Claire really emphasizes, the importance of responsible AI.
Yeah, he keeps coming back to that Iron Man versus Terminator idea. He's saying we can't just build smarter AI. We have to build AI that reflects our values.
Right. Organizations need to figure out what those values are and turn them into guidelines for how AI is built and used within the company.
So things like making sure AI systems are fair, don't discriminate, protect privacy, are transparent and accountable.
Exactly. It's about building trust and ensuring that AI is a force for good, for everyone, not just a select few.
It's really interesting to think about how much responsibility falls on leaders in all of this, not just to their own teams, but to society as a whole.
It is. The choices they make about how to develop and implement AI, those choices will have a ripple effect. They'll shape the future we're all going to live in.
As we wrap up our deep dive, let's bring it back to you.
Yeah?
What are some key things you're taking away from all this? Things you can apply in your own work as a leader?
I think the main takeaway is that AI isn't just a tech problem, it's a human problem. It's about figuring out how AI is going to affect people, their work, their lives, and it's about leading with vision, courage, empathy, being able to adapt, being humble, and making sure AI is used ethically.
That's a great way to put it. We've covered a lot of ground in our deep dive, and I hope you found it helpful as you navigate this exciting, rapidly changing world of AI. Remember, the future of work isn't set in stone. It's being shaped by the choices we're making right now, and those choices are in our hands. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and best of luck as you continue to explore the potential of AI and shape the future of work.